Welcome back, guys. It's your boy Ju. We are back here with another video, and today we are actually going to be working on my Nismo 370Z with the 2JZ. And to start things off really quick, so you guys know that I went ahead and took all of my studs out for my manifold, right? I went to powerhouseracing.com and picked up like a short stud manifold kit. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw these in right now. After we throw them in, we are actually gonna be fitting up the existing turbo manifold that I was using before, but with my new to me turbo right here. So I will show you guys that here in a second, but I hope you guys are all doing well. You can drop a like early in this video. I want to show you guys a trick really quick. So when you're putting in new head studs, right? And I keep saying head studs. These aren't head studs. These are exhaust manifold studs. When you're putting in a new one, if it doesn't have the little thing on the front, kind of like my old one, you can see it has like a thing where a socket would actually go on the front of this. My new stud does not have that. So in order to get this thing in there, you're gonna thread it in like normal. Once you get it threaded in enough, in order to get it fully snugged down, you're gonna use what they call a double nut trick.
What do you mean by that?
And what do you mean by that? You actually wanna thread on one of the nuts where the flange is facing out. So like that. And the other flange, you're gonna actually thread on where it's the opposite way, meaning when they meet, they will actually meet just like that. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Go ahead and put on this one really quick. Thread it on a little bit. And then now I'm actually going to thread on this one. So when they meet, it's gonna be able to thread on the entire thing. So with your socket, or your wrench rather, you're gonna go ahead and lock this one on there. And then now I'm going to tighten this one. Okay, so now they're about tight. So now when I tighten this outer one here, it's gonna actually tighten the entire thread into there. So I don't know if you guys, how well you can see that, but it's tightening it all the way in there. And it's gonna get to the point where it's gonna feel like it's gonna kind of like bottom out, I guess. And that's kind of where you wanna stop. And after that, you can loosen them and now your stud is fully installed. As easy as that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that for the rest of them. Won't make you guys watch. But I just kind of wanted to explain that for those who don't know. All right, guys, and just like that, we are finished. So I got all the studs in there. Went ahead and put my two gaskets on. So I got one right there, one right there. So now comes the fun part. I'm gonna go ahead and try to fish in the turbo manifold. I'm gonna test to see if I can get it in with the exhaust housing on it, like on the manifold right now. And if I can, then great. If I can't, no big deal. Believe it or not, this turbo is actually a lot easier to actually get like a socket on each of them. So it wouldn't be the worst case if I had to put that on after I get that in. So let me try to fish around and whatnot, and I'll update you guys here in a bit. And after much time has passed, we ended up getting the turbo manifold on with the turbo. This worked out really well. I wasn't able to get the turbo manifold on with the turbo, but again, as I mentioned, the studs are a lot easier to get to on this turbo, the exhaust housing. So was able to fit that up just fine. Got my shorter studs on there so you guys can see that they are barely poking through right there. So that was pretty good. It's really cool because I was actually able to tighten everything super easily from the top, from the bottom. So everything worked out how it should. I got the turbo clocked exactly where I want it, so this thing is not moving. The turbo is not binding or hitting anything, so that's good. I also have my turbo feed line routed how I did before. And what's really cool this time around, I don't know what it is, if it's just this turbo, maybe it like sticks out farther a little bit, but the turbo drain line doesn't hit the manifold. Before, that was a problem I was running into. So this one is it's actually really nice. It has a really nice bend. It's actually the best it's ever been, so that's really, really good. And then lastly, I don't know if you guys will be able to see, but I have my wastegate. Yeah, you can see it right there. I have my wastegate on with my dump tube. I installed that with all of the vacuum lines and everything from my boost controller down there. So everything is pretty much plumbed up. The only issue that I've been running into is the new turbo housing. It's a lot bigger than this old housing. Not old, but just the older one that I was running. It's weird though, because this one is a bigger turbo than that one as far as like millimeter wise. This one's a 71 millimeter. The new turbo that I have is a 69 millimeter, so it's a little bit smaller, but yet the housing is actually larger than that one. So I ordered a new one that is just a little bit smaller in diameter. It's still going to be a 69 millimeter obviously, but just the size of the actual housing is just a little bit smaller than that one. So in that way I will be able to bolt it on, and then we can make our intercooler piping. That's pretty much that. As far as the downpipe goes, we are going to be using the existing downpipe that I had before. It's kind of like tucked away over there. We're going to be using that, just basically cutting off the V-band flange and then welding on the new Marmon flange. And then for the intake pipe, we are actually just going to be cutting off the intake pipe from this one and then just welding it onto the new housing. So I'll show you that once I get that here. That actually should be here in a few minutes. But other than that, man, this setup is pretty much done. So pretty stoked on that. It looks a lot cleaner. I don't have the water lines that were running to it. I don't know if you guys remember. I had like a water line running on each side and everything. So looked a little bit congested, but it's all good, man. I'm just, I'll be happy to actually get this car on the road and driving. So I'm super stoked. Over here is where I have the old turbo. Sucks that I paid so much money for this thing, and yeah, now I don't have anything to do with it. So honestly, I'm kind of pondering on the idea of like creating some type of like turbo stand and putting this thing in like a clear glass box and like setting it up somewhere in the house, because I don't know if I want to send this thing back to BorgWarner, because they told me if I send it to them and they take the turbo apart, if they don't find anything internally that is damaged or is bad, they're gonna send me the turbo back fully disassembled. And I'm just kind of nervous and scared that I won't be able to like put it back together per se. So I'm just thinking that I'm just gonna bite the bullet and just keep it. But yeah, what would you guys think if I like put it on some type of like turbo stand, had it sitting straight up? Obviously the compressor housing would be on it once I cut off the intercooler pipe on that. But yeah, and just like having it like in there for like display or something like that. I don't know. What do you guys think? And this is your guys' last call. If anybody needs these base model brakes for 370Z or even G37, let me know. I have the full brake kit as far as the caliper, the brake lines, and the rotors. Let me know. Otherwise, I am gonna be trashing it this Friday. So by the time you guys are watching it, it is Wednesday. You have a couple days, so hit me up. If you guys don't need it, then I'm gonna throw that away. As well as if anybody needs a radiator or the fan shroud, I guess. This came out of my 370Z. I don't know if it'll work in a G37. I would assume it'd probably be somewhat of the same, but yeah, let me know. It actually even has like the condenser and everything like that on it, so let me know. I do not need this anymore. I also have my drive shaft from the VQ for my 370Z, so if anybody needs that, it is the full carbon fiber drive shaft, super lightweight. Yeah, let me know. I'm trying to get rid of it. All right, guys, the new turbo housing has arrived. I did run out of time as far as getting everything fabbed up. I was really hoping and trying to get everything fabbed up for the downpipe and the intercooler piping this week, but I am unfortunately again have run out of time. So I will update you guys on something big next week, or actually in the next video rather. Other than that though, yeah, we have ran out of time. So new housing is here. As you can see, I have three. I have the one that came with the new turbo, I have the one that was on the old turbo, and then that is the new one, the compact housing. So I will be getting everything fabbed up next, probably not even next week. Again, I need to update you guys on something really big next video on Friday, so stick around for that. But did run out of time for today, but I'm okay. I'm satisfied. I made a lot of good progress. Again, I got the new turbo in, everything clocked, and as I mentioned, you know, in the last clips here, got the new manifold, or the existing manifold, on with my new studs and hardware and everything. So everything is fitting up super good. New wastegate is on, so everything is on. So I'm pretty happy. I will update you guys and kind of fill you guys in a little bit more, but stick around for the next video. The content on these cars are actually going to slow down a little bit for the next week.
Other than that, we will be picking things back up after next week, so stick around for next video. You guys will know what I'm doing. Other than that, I will see you guys here soon. I'm out.